Chosen one, stop what you are doing and lock your attention on this message right now. That feeling you have been carrying this week. The one that keeps telling you that you are alone in this. That no one sees what you are going through. That you have been abandoned in the middle of your own battle. Silence that voice. Because what I am about to tell you is going to dismantle everything the enemy has been building in your mind. Someone powerful is standing in your defense right now. Not tomorrow, not when you get it together. Right now, in this moment, the enemy has been pressing hard against your life this week for one reason and one reason only. He knows that a verdict has already been issued in the courts of heaven, and that verdict is in your favor. It all shifts now. The isolation, the silence, the feeling that your prayers have been hitting the ceiling and falling back down. But here is what you need to understand. It is not ending because you finally said the right words or performed the right spiritual ritual. It is ending because of what you have already done. Because of how you carried yourself when no one was watching. Think back to that moment this week when someone pushed you, provoked you, or dismissed you, and instead of retaliating, you pulled back. You swallowed it. You walked away and sat alone with the weight of it. You thought that was weakness. You thought staying quiet meant you lost. But you did not know what was happening in the unseen realm in that exact moment. That restraint was not defeat. That was a weapon being loaded. That was the act that activated your covering. You did not find this message by accident. The algorithm did not bring you here. The Most High did. This is a divine appointment that was written into the fabric of your destiny long before this day arrived. You are standing at a threshold, and what you receive in the next few minutes has the power to change how you walk through the rest of this season. Do not click away. Your future self is begging you to stay because if you leave now, you will walk back out into the same heaviness without understanding what is actually happening on your behalf, and you deserve to know what is being done for you. In the next few minutes, I'm going to hand you the spiritual verdict that confirms your protection. I'm going to walk you through the exact evidence, the moments from your own week that prove a defender has already been assigned to your life. And at the end, I am going to release a declaration over you that seals this covering and shuts every open door the enemy has been using to access your peace. Stay until the very last word. I know what the last 72 hours have felt like inside your body. The atmosphere has not just been heavy, it has been suffocating, like a pressure sitting directly on your chest that you cannot explain and cannot shake. Maybe you were lying in bed last night staring at the ceiling, running through conversations in your mind, replaying moments where you felt unseen, undervalued or discarded by people you gave your best to. Or maybe you woke up at 3,000 in the morning this week with your heart pounding, a sense of dread sitting in your stomach, and you could not identify a single reason why. You just knew something felt wrong. Something felt unresolved. Something felt unresolved. Something felt like it was closing in. You feel exposed, like you have been walking through enemy territory without armor, like the covering you once felt has somehow thinned, and you have been wondering whether God is still in this, whether heaven still has eyes on your situation. And in that place of vulnerability, the enemy has been whispering a very specific lie. He has been telling you that the reason you feel unprotected is because you disqualified yourself. He has been replaying moments in your mind. That conversation where you lost your composure, that decision you made when you were exhausted, that moment you pulled away from God because the silence felt too long. He has been pointing to those moments and telling you that because of them, the covering lifted, that you have been left exposed as a consequence of your own failure. But I need you to hear what the scripture actually says about this moment. Psalm 91:111 says, "For he shall give his angels charge over you, to keep you in all your ways." Listen to what that means. Not in some of your ways, not in the ways you perform perfectly. In all your ways, including the messy ones. Including the messy ones. Including the moments you stumbled. Including the weeks that felt like spiritual wilderness. The charge given to your defender was not conditional on your perfection. It was issued over your life because of whose you are, not because of what you have done right. The enemy cannot revoke an assignment that God has already sealed. The exposure you feel is not the absence of protection. It is the sensation of a battle being fought on your behalf in a dimension you cannot see with your eyes. The pressure you feel is not punishment descending on you. It is resistance being pushed back for you. The silence you have been experiencing is not abandonment. It is the sound of a defender working in the unseen realm so that what arrives in your visible world arrives already cleared. You think the moments where you pulled back, went quiet, and chose not to fight were signs that you were losing ground. But let me reframe your reality right now. Those were not moments of weakness. Those were moments of alignment. Every time you chose peace over retaliation, every time you stayed silent when you had every right to speak, every time you surrendered control instead of grabbing for it, you were cooperating with the strategy of your defender. You were not shrinking, you were being repositioned. You were not losing the battle, you were watching your defender take the field. You are not exposed, you are covered. And the covering did not begin today when you found this message. It has been in place the entire time you thought you were alone. Hit the like button if you feel this message found you at exactly the right moment. Drop a comment below. What is one situation this week where you chose silence or restraint instead of reacting, and now you are wondering whether that was weakness or whether something greater was working through you? And the reason you need to hear this today, the reason this message found you at this exact moment, is because what's happening around you right now is not random. The pressure you've been feeling, the silence that seems like abandonment, the doors that closed without explanation, none of it is what it looks like. You've been reading the situation through human eyes, seeing only the immediate fallout, the perceived setbacks, the painful endings. But heaven has been operating on an entirely different frequency, orchestrating a divine ballet of repositioning and recalibration. What looks like loss from where you're standing, a barren field of disappointment, looks like meticulous positioning from where God is standing, a strategic placement of pieces on the grand chessboard of your destiny. He is not merely reacting to events, he is authoring them, even the ones that feel like they are unraveling your world. Some messages don't just inform, they activate. They are not gentle whispers. They are divine sparks, designed to ignite a slumbering fire within your spirit. If something stirred deep in your spirit just now, a resonant hum of recognition, a tremor of anticipation, you may be ready to receive the Chosen One's blueprint. This sacred guide is more than just a book. It is a key, unlocking the hidden chambers of your divine purpose. It reveals the 8 divine patterns that weave through the fabric of your calling, your suffering, and your ultimate destiny, illuminating the sacred geometry of your life's journey. And because true impartation often requires immersion, it also comes with the full audiobook, so you can absorb its wisdom during prayer, in moments of quiet contemplation, or during periods of much-needed rest, allowing the truths to seep into the very soil of your soul. And for those called to speak His truth into the world, for those with a prophetic assignment burning in their belly, you'll also receive Activating Your Prophet Mantle, a powerful bonus ebook, a spiritual sword forged in the fires of divine revelation, equipping you for the unique voice you carry. The link is in the first pinned comment, but only for a limited time, for these divine catalysts are often offered with a sense of sacred urgency. Now let's go deeper. Because the thing most people don't understand about divine protection is that it doesn't always announce itself with fanfare. It doesn't always arrive with the thunderous clap of warning or the radiant glow of a visible sign. Sometimes, protection looks like a sudden, impenetrable, closed door, and you spend weeks, even months, grieving an opportunity that in hindsight was a disguised precipice, an abyss that would have swallowed your dreams whole. Sometimes it looks like a person unexpectedly leaving your life, a void where connection once was, and you spend months mourning someone who was not a divine companion, but a divine detractor, someone sent to delay you, not to define you, a spiritual anchor holding you back from the shore of your true calling. The protection of God is often invisible precisely because the threat it averted was invisible, a venomous serpent lurking unseen in the grass. You were never shown what you were being protected from, never given a clear picture of the impending danger. And that very invisibility, that lack of tangible evidence, is what made you feel utterly alone, adrift in a sea of unanswered prayers, when in reality you were being intimately and powerfully covered. Think about Elijah. Here was a man who had just orchestrated a celestial spectacle, a fiery testament to God's power that echoed across the heavens. He had just stood as a solitary beacon of divine might in the most dramatic display of power his generation had ever witnessed, commanding fire to descend from an unblinking sky. And then, in the very next breath, in a stark and unexpected turn, he ran. He fled from the very forces he had just triumphed over, collapsing under a solitary tree, his spirit utterly broken, and asked God to let him die. He declared with the raw honesty of utter despair, "I have had enough." And what did the Almighty do? He did not rebuke Elijah for his fear, nor did he withdraw his presence in judgment. Instead, he sent an angel, not with a sermon on courage, but with sustenance, not with a lecture on faith, but with a gentle touch. The angel's message was not one of reproof, but of profound understanding. The journey is too great for you. God did not defend Elijah with a barrage of words or a divine decree of victory. He defended him with his unwavering presence, with tangible provision, with the quiet, unseen act of showing up before Elijah even possessed the residual strength to articulate his need. That's the kind of protection that truly transforms you. Not the kind that makes a grand public display, but the kind that finds you huddled under a tree when you've poured out everything you have and stand utterly depleted, with absolutely nothing left. And if you're honest with yourself right now, you know that you have sat under that tree. Perhaps not beneath a physical acacia, but in the stark, barren landscape of your spirit. You have experienced your own fire from heaven moments, your instances of divine intervention and overwhelming power. You have stepped out and done the hard thing, the courageous thing. You have obeyed, even when obedience demanded a significant sacrifice, when it cost you dearly in tangible or emotional terms. And then something hit, something unexpected, a relentless wave or a sudden storm, and you found yourself sitting in that quiet, desolate place, questioning the worth of it all. You've wondered if the God who showed up with such undeniable power before can possibly show up again in your current season of struggle. And here's what I need you to grasp with every fiber of your being. The angel did not arrive after Elijah had miraculously recovered his strength and his resolve. The angel came while he was still consumed by exhaustion, while his spirit was still fractured. Divine protection doesn't wait for you to muster the strength to receive it. It meets you precisely in the depths of your weakness. But here's where it goes even deeper, because there exists a profound dimension of protection that most people never even consider. And it's the kind that operates through other people, often without those individuals ever realizing their crucial role. There are individuals woven into the tapestry of your life, and some who have since departed its threads, who were divinely assigned to stand in a crucial gap on your behalf, not because they possessed prophetic insight into your calling or a deep understanding of your unique struggle, but because God, in His infinite wisdom, positioned them as impenetrable shields in moments when you were too broken, too spiritually blinded by the storm, or too battle-worn from the relentless conflict to protect yourself effectively. Scripture offers a timeless illustration of this in the profound covenant between Jonathan and David. Jonathan had absolutely no logical or familial reason to protect David. In fact, David was the very man destined to one day ascend to the throne that Jonathan, as the king's son, should have rightfully inherited. Yet, in an act of astonishing grace and loyalty, Jonathan stripped himself of his royal robe, his armor, and his sword, and bestowed them upon David. He placed himself directly between David and the murderous rage of his own father, King Saul. He chose an unbreakable covenant over a kingly inheritance, and that singular act of another's obedience became the divine covering, the sacred shield that preserved David's life long enough for him to fulfill his destiny and become the revered king he was called to be. Someone in your story, in the unfolding narrative of your life, has done something like that for you. Perhaps they remain unaware of the magnitude of their action. Perhaps you yourself are only just beginning to perceive it, but there was a crucial conversation that never transpired because someone, somewhere, interceded on your behalf. There was a devastating consequence that did not materialize, a blow that did not land, because someone else willingly carried its weight. There was a door that swung open, not because your resume was impeccable or your qualifications unmatched, but because someone, in a moment of divine prompting, spoke your name in a room where you were never physically present. And this is precisely where you must pause, where you need to allow a profound sense of gratitude to rise within you, transforming it into a formidable spiritual weapon. Because ingratitude, my friends, acts like a spiritual dam, effectively closing the channel through which divine protection flows. When you become unable to perceive the hands that are silently holding you steady, that are shielding you from unseen harm, you gradually begin to believe that no hands are there at all. And that belief, that quiet, insidious, creeping belief, is one of the most dangerous spiritual conditions a chosen person can ever fall into, a spiritual paralysis that hinders God's active intervention. Stay with me, because what is about to unfold is the part that most people tragically miss, the hidden, often counterintuitive reason why the intensity of the attack often escalates precisely in the moments preceding a significant breakthrough. The enemy, that ancient adversary, does not squander his resources. He does not expend precious energy and strategic planning to mobilize against that which holds no real significance, no potential threat. If you have found yourself under relentless, coordinated, and seemingly disproportionate attack, whether it manifests spiritually, emotionally, relationally, or financially, you must grasp the profound meaning of such intense opposition. It is not a sign of divine abandonment. It is irrefutable evidence that the assignment on your life is far from ordinary, far from small. Ordinary destinies do not attract extraordinary warfare. The sheer magnitude of the resistance you're facing is a potent prophetic signal, directly correlating to the immense scale and divine importance of the assignment God has placed upon you. And if you have been misinterpreting the ferocity of the attack as definitive proof that God has turned his back on you, you have fundamentally misread the spiritual battlefield. The intensity of the attack is not a sign of your failure, it is a testament to the threat you represent. The enemy only feels threatened by that which is genuinely powerful, that which possesses a divine mandate, and that which is poised on the very brink of activation. Consider this potent illustration. Pharaoh did not decree the horrific death of every newborn Hebrew infant out of a position of strength or security. He issued that brutal decree because something significant, something potentially world-altering, was rising within the enslaved population, something his oppressive kingdom could not possibly contain. And that decree, that horrific, devastating, and seemingly senseless act of planned destruction, turned out to be the greatest miscalculation of his entire reign. Because it was that very decree, that attempt to eradicate the burgeoning generation, that ultimately placed baby Moses directly into the life-giving waters of the Nile. It was that decree that ultimately led Moses into Pharaoh's own palace, directly into the heart of his enemy's domain. It was that decree that shaped and forged the very deliverer who would one day walk back into Egypt, not as a slave, but as a liberator, and dismantle everything Pharaoh had so painstakingly built. The attack, designed with the explicit purpose of aborting the anointing, actually served to carry it closer to its divine destination. And this, my friends, is precisely what has been unfolding in your own life. What was intended to annihilate you has been a powerful season of education. What was meant to silence your voice has been deepening its resonance and power. What was designed to break you has been constructing the very foundation of unshakable resilience that your future calling demands. And this leads us to a profound truth that many are not yet ready to confront. The divine protection you have been fervently asking God for, the impenetrable shield you've prayed would surround you. You have, in fact, already been walking within it. The breakthrough you have been earnestly praying toward, the transformation you have longed for, it is not an external force that will descend upon you. It has been steadily growing from within, nurtured through every season of suffering you have bravely survived, every profound moment of stillness you have endured with grace, every selfless act of obedience you have offered when nothing in the natural realm offered any confirmation that it was worthwhile. You have been in a sacred process of being shaped, and shaping, by its very nature, requires pressure. Raw clay does not transform into a beautiful, functional vessel through constant comfort and ease. It becomes a vessel through the deliberate, intentional hands of the master potter, through pressure applied with divine purpose, through the intense heat endured within the kiln, and through the surrendered passage of time within a sacred process that only the Maker fully comprehends. But here's where I must gently challenge you, for there exists a subtle yet incredibly dangerous agreement that many chosen people inadvertently make with the enemy. It often happens during periods of prolonged waiting, during seasons of profound spiritual silence. It masquerades as humility, even as unwavering faithfulness, but it is, in reality, one of the most insidious and effective weapons the enemy wields against individuals who are standing on the precipice of their calling. This agreement whispers the insidious question: maybe I'm not really who I think I am. It suggests maybe the calling was merely a fleeting feeling, not a divine fact. Perhaps the grand vision was simply my own ego dressed up in spiritual attire. It's possible God chose someone else for this task. And the reason this agreement is so perilous is because it does not outwardly appear as doubt. It dons the mantle of humility. It speaks the language of surrender, but what it truly represents is deeply ingrained unbelief, expertly disguised in the respectable guise of spiritual maturity. And this subtle agreement will inevitably keep you small, keep you invisible, and condemn you to circling the same spiritual wilderness for years on end. Not because God has changed his mind about your destiny, but because you, in a quiet, often unconscious moment, have subtly shifted your own. And just when you believe you have found a semblance of solid ground in that resigned surrender, there lies yet another deeper layer beneath it. Because beneath the surface of this counterfeit humility resides something far older, something far more foundational. It is a deeply ingrained pattern, a wound that was imprinted long before you possessed the language to fully name or understand it. The true root is not simple doubt, nor is it merely a fear of external failure. What truly lies underneath, for the vast majority of chosen people, is a profound, unresolved fear of the immense cost of being fully seen. There was a moment in your past, perhaps in the vulnerability of childhood, perhaps within the complexities of a significant relationship, or perhaps within a community or a religious setting that was supposed to offer safety, when you were truly seen, when your unique gifting was undeniable, when your inner light radiated with an uncontainable brilliance, and instead of being celebrated, embraced, and nurtured, you were met with criticism, diminished by judgment, threatened by envy, or outright rejected. And your soul, in that moment of profound pain and perceived danger, made a decision that felt like the ultimate act of wisdom. It is far safer to remain small, to stay hidden. Your gift, your divine spark, goes underground. Your calling becomes buried beneath a performance-based persona. You present just enough of yourself to be present, to be included, but never enough to be fully exposed, never enough to risk that kind of devastating pain again. And that decision, born from deep hurt and the primal instinct of self-protection, has been tragically mistaken for genuine humility ever since. Coming up, the pivotal moment when everything shifts, when the tide turns in a way that will redefine your understanding of divine orchestration. Stay right here, because here is the crucial element, the paradigm-shifting truth that changes everything you thought you understood. The potent protection that currently surrounds you, the powerful spiritual defense that this message has illuminated from its very beginning, was never solely designed for your personal survival. It was meticulously crafted and strategically deployed for your ultimate emergence. God does not cover and conceal a treasure he has no intention of revealing. He does not protect a divine calling he has no plan to activate. Every angel assigned to your divine escort, every human intercessor who has faithfully stood in the gap on your behalf, every single attack that was sovereignly redirected, every single door that was divinely closed. None of these orchestrations were intended to keep you hidden away in perpetual safety forever. Their singular purpose was so that when your appointed moment arrives, when the celestial clock strikes the ordained time, you would still be standing, whole, resilient, and fully present. You would still be authentically you, not a fractured version of yourself that the world has battered down and rebuilt in its own image, but the original, undiluted, heaven-authored masterpiece of you that was conceived and designed long before you ever set foot on this earthly plane. And here lies the unexpected truth, the revelation that will reframe and illuminate everything you have just received. The divine entity or entities defending you are not doing so exclusively for your personal benefit. They are engaged in this battle because your freedom, your breakthrough, is intrinsically connected to the freedom and breakthrough of someone else. Your personal victory does not belong solely to you. There is an entire generation, a multitude of souls waiting expectantly on the other side of your emergence. There are people whose names you do not yet know, whose faces you have never seen, who are currently sitting in the very same profound darkness that once enveloped you, and they are waiting for someone to be the first to walk out, to prove that it is possible, to model what it looks like to be chosen, to be broken, to be divinely protected, to be intensely refined, and then, finally, to be fully and unapologetically released into their God-ordained destiny. You are not merely being defended so that you can live a life of comfortable ease. You are being defended so that you can become the living, breathing proof that God absolutely keeps His promises, even when the road is arduous and long, even when the process is excruciatingly painful, and even when the current season makes absolutely no logical sense to anyone observing from the outside. So before you close this out, before you move on to the next urgent demand on your attention, I invite you to place your hand gently over your chest, right over your heart, and feel that steady rhythm. That heartbeat, that is not merely a biological function. That is undeniable evidence. Evidence that your journey is far from over. Evidence that the incredible work God began within you has not been abandoned. Evidence that the protection you have felt, the defense that has surrounded you, and the profound calling that resonates within you are all still very real and actively at play. Speak this truth over yourself right now with every ounce of conviction in your soul, and truly mean every single word. I am not behind. I am not forgotten. I am not too broken, too late, or too small for the magnificent purpose that God designed me to carry. I now consciously release every agreement I ever made with smallness, with insignificance. I release every insidious lie I mistook for humility. I release the paralyzing fear of being fully seen, because I understand now that I was created. I was fearfully and wonderfully made to be seen. I now consciously step out from under the heavy shadow of self-protection and into the vast, open expanse of divine purpose. I receive the powerful defense that has been surrounding me, often unseen. I receive the profound covering that I didn't even know was present, and I move forward with unwavering resolve. Not because everything is suddenly perfect, not because the path ahead has magically become clear, but because the one who divinely called me has never, not for one single moment, stopped defending me. I am divinely protected. I am chosen. I am profoundly ready, and I will not shrink back again. If this message has resonated deeply within you, touching something sacred in your spirit, do not allow its impact to fade. Share it generously with someone you know who might be sitting under their own tree of despair right now. Someone who desperately needs to know that the silence they are experiencing is not divine abandonment, but divine orchestration. And if you feel a strong pull to go even deeper, to understand the intricate patterns God employs to prepare and powerfully activate chosen people in this pivotal generation, the link to unlock that deeper understanding is waiting for you in the first pinned comment. This sacred community was lovingly built for individuals exactly like you. And believe me, we are only just beginning this incredible journey together.